All right, guys, welcome back into the Go and Fun Esports Championships here at gamers.com.mt. We are about to get into our third match of the day between Integrity and TTN. As we have the bans already rolling out, we see the Rumble being banned away as well as the Oriana.
Yep, gotta see exactly what else unfolds here in the draft. Again, I'm a little bit disappointed that we haven't seen any of the champions that got some changes. Again, in 7.6, there weren't a whole lot of them, but we'll have to wait and see, and especially after watching that last game, I gotta feel like these teams need to start thinking long and hard about picking Vladimir early or banning it away.
Yeah, but we aren't seeing that just yet. We have the Zyra being banned away as well as the Ashe. There's two bans that I want to see, the Vladimir being one and the Lulu being the other.
Yeah, and right now, both of those are up, so we'll have to see. Again, Lulu, the pretty staple first pick if you are a blue side team. Pretty much just through and through here. So, again, a lot of time to wait and find out exactly what's going on. But with all of these target bans, everything has been left up.
And there's that first pick, Lulu, coming in for the side of Integrity. There we go. My words are amazing. But we also saw the Vayne and the Alawi ban. Definitely not things I would have liked to have seen talked about it. The focus bans definitely aiming at the champion pools of each side. But the Lulu being left up on the table got grabbed away. And I would like to see the Vladimir being picked up by TTN right now.
Yeah, again, have to wait and see. There's a lot of different ways these compositions can go. And we know that we love seeing the Lulu paired up with a champion like the Rengar. That was not locked in here for the first rotation by TTN, so there is the option for Integrity to try and grab that really strong combination for themselves.
Yeah, the Caitlyn is a strong pick. I think that one is definitely meriting a really early rotation pick. But the Poppy being picked up right away is definitely something strong that I don't know if it's worth picking up this early, though.
I mean, it's strong, but it's not very contested, right? Because there's picks like the Shen, like the Nautilus. We saw in the last game, but those really are at the top of the table when it comes to these tanky initiating top laners. Of course, something that Fragcoil does feel comfortable on. But still, we'll have to wait and see how high of an impact that does have. One of the other good things about it, it dissuades the side of Integrity from picking a champion like the Camille, because that is a very nice matchup for the Poppy.
Same with that Shen. Poppy does do very well into that matchup as well, so it's going to dissuade that just a little bit, though. Shen, you more want for that staying united anyways, but we do see the Ezreal and the Hecarim being picked up by Integrity. Going to look for a lot of that hard engage.
Absolutely. It's not quite the Rengar we were expecting, but Lulu speeds up the Hecarim and makes him big when he goes into the team fight, so he definitely can be a nice frontliner. And one of the issues we always found with the Hecarim, especially when he was very popular both in solo queue and a little bit in competitive, was when these players went for the very early Trinity Force. They were never tanky enough for these early to mid-game team fights because it just took them so long to build, and all they have are these offensive stats. Now if you give it something like the Lulu to buff it up, maybe lock in another initiating tank top laner to supplement that engage and draw away some of the focus, he can actually do a lot more work in these fights.
Very true, but on the side of TTN, we do see the Twisted Fate and the Rek'Sai being picked up. Gonna have a little bit of that global pressure coming in from both of those champions.
Absolutely. The Shen still is an option if we want to see some sort of a match for that. And Rek'Sai, yes, she's got the global, but that's not really why you pick the champion, right? It's to get those early ganks down. And just looking across the table right now, mid lane, very easy to gank, especially if we don't see a cleanse being taken by the Ahri player right here. Point click CC in the gold card, very, very good. Chain that into a knockup. Even in the top lane too, Poppy very good at slamming people into the walls and going on from there. So I like the Rek'Sai here, and I hope we see a higher impact in this game 3 than we did last time round.
It will. That is something that remains to be seen, but we do have the Maokai being locked in that top lane to go against that Poppy, as well as that Ahri that you had mentioned in the mid lane. Gonna be really interesting to see what summoners are taken for that Ahri, if she wants to go for more of that safe route or not. But I honestly want to see the same kind of play come out of that Twisted Fate. You got to be really careful of not just the charm coming in from the Ahri, but the Twisted Advance, and then the galloping Hecarim coming in with that onslaught of shadows.
Right. The Twisted Fate is one of those champions that by itself feels very weak. You know, if it's being ganked and whatnot, you don't have that built-in escape. All you've really got is the gold card to try and disengage. But when you go into a side lane, it can actually be really, really overpowering. And locking in the Soraka at the end here, this is a champion you don't see all too often, and it might seem a little bit odd, but even besides the heals that are going to be fantastic in the laning phase, just allow Caitlyn to try and 1v2 the lane while you keep her topped off on HP, you look at a gank coming in right from this Twisted Fate. He's going to land the gold card, then you're going to trap underneath them, and you've also got the silence field from Zadanu's Soraka. During all that CC duration, the snare will then pop, so anyone that gets touched in the bottom lane will not be going anywhere.
Very true. Definitely trying to see if they can use that potential of the CC combinations as well as just use the damage that's going to come in from the Caitlyn headshots to really help out the side of TTN. But looking at the summoners, we actually do not see those passive, more defensive summoners like the cleanses being picked up by the Ahri. We see Ignite for both the Ahri and the Lulu.
Yeah, for Lulu, fairly standard down in the support role. Now that we've seen some exhaust nerfs come through, it's really not all that effective up against AD carries because they no longer lose that percentage of their attack speed. Instead, now you take the Ignite for the aggressive 2v2, and Lulu is going to be a lot more offensive than a Soraka. So maybe with this Ezreal, they can start to get some work done down there, just battling, duking it out in the laning phase.
Yeah, very true. Want to mitigate a lot of the healing that's going to come in from the Soraka. So it's going to be interesting. The one that just surprised me was the Ahri for sure. But on the other side, we see that the Twisted Fate in Insanity's hands has picked up the Ghost. Definitely looking for more of that cross-map potential because the Ghost, I'm going to predict at least right now, would more be used to get more in range of those Destiny gates later on.
Right, you pop that one, you pour it on in, and then you run down your opponents. Even if they flash away, having that extra way to gap close will make it so that either you don't have to burn your flash or you chase down, get that last attack, get that stun to allow the rest of your team to follow up on the kill. But one other thing that I would like to talk about in this draft is range. Right now you've got this Caitlyn. One of the reasons why she's so good right now in the state of the game is that she keeps all of her opponents at a distance from her. She's able to attack from very far away, but the way to counteract that, you look over on the side of Integrity. The Ahri, the Hecarim, the Maokai, all of these champions are fantastic divers getting into the enemy backline, and when Pulis has to focus on all of these champions diving onto him, all of a sudden his job gets a lot more challenging, a lot more difficult, and it'll be a lot easier for Zod to really get his poke off, be less focused, because no one's really going to be diving on towards him.
Yeah, very true. And if you do dive onto the Ezreal, he's going to be
he
very
just hops away.
Yeah, he's going to be very hard to lock down for sure. I'm sure the gold card is going to guarantee that you can lock him down at least if they do end up having Zod go maybe just a little too far forward, get gold card from Insanity, but he can still hop away, get stunned back by his team where he doesn't feel threatened from any of the engage coming in from TTN.
Absolutely true, and you know, we do have a little bit more time to actually get onto the Rift, but I really do like a lot of the different aspects of these team compositions. On the blue side, of course, Integrity, we already mentioned, they've got this strong diving composition that if they do get ahead is very, very powerful. But they're also very easily punished because in the 1-3-1, they're not going to be quite as powerful. Insanity out of the mid lane will easily be able to try and punish some of these side lanes, and even pre-level 6, Shadow, because he went for the aggressive, for the snowballing Ignite into this matchup where you have to worry about the gold card, he is going to be very exploitable if the Rek'Sai does come around mid lane and try to shut him down.
Yeah, you're going to have to see exactly how everything doesn't form for the side of TTN if they can make sure not to get shut down, or if they can make sure to just shut down the roaming potential that can come in from that Ahri. But while we look at the loading screen that's about to come up, we are going to just give a quick shout out to our sponsors. We have GO&FUN Energy Drink, the Point Shopping Mall, Costa Coffee, Smart Car, Malta, Hugo's Burgers, Urban Jungle Jobs in Malta.com, The Powerhouse, Gadgets, and Vibe FM. Guys, thank you so much for sponsoring the tournament, and a shout out to all the admins behind the scenes. Ishmael, Kirsten, thank you so much for everything that you're doing to help us put this tournament together and bring it to everyone here.
Yeah, a little bit interesting. Just checking out some of these keystones right now. The Caitlyn, Evil G, he's running Fervor of Battle, and while that isn't necessarily bad, because the new Warlord's Bloodlust actually basically just ignores your opponent's armor, and you're looking at a Hecarim and a Maokai, two players that are going to be building a lot of defensive stats, a lot of armor specifically to try and deal with you. I feel like that might have actually been a really good option for him. But at the same time, he knows he has a Soraka, so maybe he's saying, I don't actually need the sustain, I don't need the healing, because my support is going to do all that for me.
Yeah, gonna at least try to rely a lot on Zadanu. There we go, said it properly that time. To give the healing, and you can really do that with a Soraka. Soraka is considered so annoying because of the absurd amount of healing that she does bring to the table, so you could actually imagine that Zod wants to get something like an Executioner's Calling early on to really stop Paulus's and Zadanu's healing that's going to be coming out in this game.
Yeah, either that or you can hold off because you've got the double ignite. So in a team fight, it's going to be very easy to actually get the Grievous Wounds proc down onto your target. But for now, at least in this laning phase, I really don't think we're going to be seeing too much happening down in the bottom lane specifically until we reach that level 6.4 Insanity out of mid. Instead, I really do believe that mid lane is going to be the heavy focus for both of these sides.
Yeah, gonna be a really easy target, at least early on, before we see Shadow picking up the Spirit Rush, or we see Insanity being able to use that Destiny Gate at all. But yeah, they need to somehow make an impact in that mid lane. Somehow get one of their mid laners rolling. We'll see exactly who it's going to be, if it's going to be Van Cleef or Junior, who's able to really pop off their mid laner. And then I could also imagine top lane's probably going to be left on that island of tanks that we usually saw a few weeks back in like 7.1, 7.2.
Top lane tanks never really left the meta per se. It's still very easy to actually play some of the more carry-oriented top laners. To me, it feels like when we have more of the offensive junglers, though, that's when we're getting the big tank top laners. Even though in this game specifically, Hecarim, yeah, he's going to build Triforce, but after that, it's going to be full tank. Maybe we get a Titanic Hydra from Rek'Sai, but it's very minimal.
Zadanu face checking the bush. He already gets ignited, taking a lot of damage as there is the heal coming in from Paulus to keep him alive for now, but he had to flash away, so a trade of 2 summoners for 1, the advantage going over to Integrity.
Yeah, the OP bush baits right there. Get a heal, get a flash for just the ignite, and they also force Zadanu to recall. That's absolutely huge. They're going to rush down to level 2 right there. And you gotta start wondering why exactly Zadanu and Evil G were entering that lane so late. With Rek'Sai starting on the top half of the map, there's no real reason not to be staking out a bush in that lane. And that's one of the reasons why we saw a lot of teams, think back to Worlds, where they were sending 5 members just to get bush control, all because of that cheesy little bush tactic.
You know my favorite cheesy bush strat that I ever saw?
What's that?
It was Jhin and Bard. So you have Jhin actually start with his traps first, and he puts them along the wall. He puts them along the wall right between the by the pixel bush down there. So it's more like they're pathing, if they're pathing out of their tri bush behind the tower and they're coming down along that little wall there, you put all the traps right at that corner, and then when they go to step on that, the Bard actually will use that Cosmic Binding, lock them all up, and then the explosion from the past from the traps will actually get a first blood.
Well, I've never seen that before in my life.
It's extremely cheesy. It's
extremely cheesy, and if it doesn't work, then you're stuck leveling an ability that you usually don't take until like level 9 or later.
Exactly. So you have to get that first blood or you're kind of SOL.
Unlucky. That's what it would be called if you weren't able to actually cash in on that.
Exactly. Well, that's why I said it's a very, very cheesy strat. But now we see Fracoid taking a lot of damage coming in from Zazwa. There we go.
Zanzwa, right there. It's a good game. It's a good name. Maokai always been good at just bullying people in the early levels, even though his E basically lost half its damage with not applying the actual DPS on the first charge.
Charge comes in and makes it so that Charm does not connect on to Sanity, but Insanity did have to flash away just to keep himself safe, was afraid of an early level dive.
Yep, just a even trade right there. It's not going to mean too much either way, although I'd actually wind up giving the advantage here to TTN. Really just whatever jungler tries to set up the camp in the mid lane, although a really nice blue ward on the blue buff of Junior will spot him out, so they know exactly where he is, and perhaps that he's traveling up towards the top side of his map now.
Yeah, so it gives a lot of opportunity over to Van Cleef to be able to steal away some of this jungle, as we do see him taking away the Krugs from Junior to get a little bit of that advantage, trying to keep up the scaling on that Hecarim, keep going into that mid to late game.
Both these junglers had super strange pathings right now. It's so odd that they're actually meeting on this half of the map right now, because they both started on their top side. It was Junior who went to his red buff into his Krugs and then down bottom. Same thing on the other side. Bot lane though, getting so aggressive.
Zod took a tower shot as well, almost fell. Surprised we didn't see the heal coming out of him, because he got very dangerously living on the knife's edge.
Yeah. If you got the... Oh! Junior. Speaking of knife's edge and knives in general, feels bad, man.
It really does. Junior thought he could take those Krugs a little too early with no health and no passive health that could have been regen. And now we see a pause. Maybe that's what it was. It was.
Let's hope he disconnected.
He's just like, no,
for his sake, let's hope that happens.
I'm calling it. If it's a 30-second pause, if it only lasts that long, he's just like, glitch, lag, I swear. And then like, oh, it's fixed now. It's better.
See, this isn't a real pause. This is just to try and justify to his teammates how he possibly could have gotten solo killed by those Krugs.
Exactly. Yeah. Hey, you have to justify it some way. Oh, no, not 30 seconds. So.
I mean, to be fair, in his defense, his pathing was super strange because he went red buff into Krugs and then went to his bottom side jungle. So the Krugs actually had respawned, and when they respawned, they actually level up, basically matching the average level in the game. And he didn't build any real items. He has a chilling smite. That gives you no effectiveness actually killing the jungle compared to your machete. Yeah, he just built that, so he hadn't actually gotten the recall off first. So those Krugs, OP, man. They're OP. They need nerf just like the red buff.
I think, everything totally needs a nerf, man. It's like, just nerf everything and buff everyone so that we have Earth in every single game, and I'll be happy.
Nerf everything and buff everyone. How does that even work? Is that just you don't change anything?
No. You nerf all the in-game things, so all the jungles, all the items are nerfed, but then you buff all the champions so there's no cooldowns on anything.
All right.
So
that's what I got.
So essentially, I'm saying give me Earth is what I'm telling Riot.
There you go. Give the man Earth. Let them eat Earth. Let them have Earth.
Exactly. But now we do get to see some of the itemization coming in. Gonna be that Triforce rush coming in from Van Cleef. No surprises there. As we do have Sheen picked up for Insanity as well. He's gonna look for a lot of that good poke that he's gonna be able to bring down with those blue cards and possibly the wave clear coming in from the red cards.
Right, it's the Sheen. It's pretty high damage here in the early lane. We'll sometimes see like a Rod of Ages build out of the Twist Fate if he wants some more durability when he's using those Destiny Gates offensively. Likewise, if he wants to go for perhaps a Zhonya's Hourglass after this, he can also make similar sorts of plays. But he's been level 6 for just a little bit now, and I'm just waiting for that first use of the big global powerhouse.
That will be interesting, but we see Zenzwa and Van Cleef going on a Fragcoid, as Fragcoid does use that heroic charge to kind of mitigate that charge coming in from Van Cleef. So he's going to get himself to safety, but hasn't flashed yet, taking a lot of damage, finally flashing away from Van Cleef, who takes a tower shot for his troubles.
I mean, that was just pretty much incredibly played all around the board right there by Fragcoid.
Yeah, we see Shadow going on to Insanity first.
Oh, man!
Never luck. Insanity will fall, but got himself the first blood.
That's why you take the cleanse right there. Insanity was able to get that gold card back up just barely. Thank goodness Sheen has CDR, he's telling himself right now. And gonna be very happy managing to find a 1v1 trade in a lane that wasn't going too hot for him.
Not at all, and it's definitely gonna help him out. I'm sure he didn't use his Ghost, but you've talked about it several times how it's a low cooldown summoner, so he's not too worried about that. But now we are seeing Vax coming in all across the board. BF Sword picked up by Paulus in that bot lane. gonna help out with that CS as we see Zod and Aeon able to get a really good push going on and consistently stay well above Paulus and Zedanu in CS.
Right, and that's all because they got their recall off first. Zod had the tier in his inventory, and coming back into the lane, it forced Evil G to stay a little bit longer than he actually would have liked to. So by the time he realized, I've just got to recall, get my health back and my mana back so I can pick up this BF sword, now his turret is sitting at about 40% HP, and when you draft the Caitlyn, that's something you don't really expect to be saying yourself.
Yeah, very true. You always expect to be winning in the lane, but we saw Fragcoid make a roam into the bot lane. The question being is coming in the top lane to really let Shadow know that he was missing. But look at this. We see Zod and Aeon going really hard onto Evil G. There's the exhaust being used as well as that ignite.
Got him!
The kill with the true shot barrage.
And what I was talking about in the last game was certain supports can unlock the potential of an Ezreal. Look at his items. He's got a tier. Oh man, mid lane, that was crazy. But he's got a tier. He's got a Sapphire Crystal. He has 0 AD in his item slots right now up against the Caitlyn. But because of the Soraka, you can't fight back. It's very similar to a Janna in the sense that you just try and keep your AD carry alive. Caitlyn can't 1v2 versus a Lulu and an Ezreal and gets taken down.
Not to mention that we didn't even see Zedanu have his ultimate up at that time. So
First
no
tower.
Wish gonna come in. And that allows first tower to go down. That's a massive swing in objective lead going over to the side of Integrity. But we do see that TTN lose Insanity as well in that mid lane.
And you want to know something scary?
What?
It's the fact that Evil G has just as much gold this entire game. He's got 2.5 gold this entire game, and Ezreal just recalled on 2,500 gold. That's the difference right there between the two AD carries. Even though it doesn't look like a lot, right? It's just 30 CS. It's 1 kill. It's the first turret as well right there, and the difference is monumental.
That is a huge difference, and we can see that in the items that are picked up, but we're seeing a gank go into Fragcoid in that top lane. He's going to use the Keeper's very trying to keep himself alive, but Onslaught of Shadow is going to help him get the kill. Aegon having to use that wild growth to keep himself alive as he was taking the tower for far too long.
Just easy rotation right here. Only sending the Lulu, actually. So Zod is still just farming down the bottom lane. He knows he's under no pressure of being dove because you spot out Twist Fate on the top side. But now Junior's down bottom. They want to make something happen potentially. Although a Dragon for 2 turrets, not necessarily going to be the right option because you're down 5,000 gold and Ocean Drake does not meet that.
I guess it's something on the Rift. They get a little bit of an advantage, I suppose. They need something.
But they could have gotten a turret for themselves. Get yourself about 1,000 gold back in the tank. Sure, Ocean Drake, it helps you sustain during the laning phase. Newsflash, the laning phase is over at 11 minutes. You have lost 2 of your outer turrets. Mid lane now is going to be the focus, and that is such a big issue here compositionally for TTN because Twisted Fate wants the laning phase to last forever, and that is not a possibility here.
Right, but we see in the bot lane, Zod's going to be fighting Evil G and Zedanu. They're taking a lot of damage. Here comes the Wish out of them. Zod taking too much damage, having to be really careful. Here comes the teleport in from Fragcoid. Aeon really far out.
Oh, man.
Be enough for the ace in the hole. It will pick up the kill as Aeon will be chased down by the Poppy. But we have in the backline, Zazawile coming in, trying to see if he can disrupt as much as he can. But Junior going to come as well. Here's the Destiny. Not going to have the gold card. Only the slow. Not going to be able to lock up Aeon. So they get out of there alive from the side of Integrity.
And we said how easy it was for Integrity to exploit TTN. Instead, they fall straight into the trap. They gave TTN the opportunity to use the globals. They teleported in, they used the Twisted Fate, the Rek'Sai, everything to try and catch Zod and Aeon off guard. It succeeded, but at the same time, because there was no rotation coming out of Shadow, that mid lane turret is being taken down.
Yeah, and there's nothing they can do to stop that either. They do... Actually, no, they don't have anyone pathing in that area. We see that Van Cleef is there just to protect Shadow if they need it, as Junior is pathing behind Shadow, trying to go for the flank, but going to be spotted out by the control ward.
Wow, that was a respectful flash right there, to say the least. Sure, Shadow can use the dash to come in there. Look at that!
And Insanity getting caught out huge by Shadow as we see the fight keep going in onto Junior. They have all the members trying to lock him up. Here comes the Keeper's Verdict to knock out Van Cleef. The charm did not connect onto the Rek'Sai, so Rek'Sai can make it away.
That's the pick they needed, and they zone everyone away. Low HP bars, you see double recalls, and the duo of TTN is still down there in the bottom lane. So that mid lane turret that was in danger of going down now very much surely will, unless, wait, they're just recalling everyone. That's a little bit odd.
That's not even a little bit odd. That's very odd. With such a massive lead for Shadow over Insanity, look at the CS differential and the kill differential between the two. We should have seen Shadow at least be able to pick up that tower and then recall with even more gold in her pocket.
Zod just casually steals away the red buff, walks over control ward. He doesn't care. No one is contesting him, and that's the sort of crazy plays you're almost allowed to do when you have a 5,000 gold lead, when you've knocked out a lot of these outer turrets. But in the meantime, Junior wants to try and maybe dive bot lane.
Yeah, as we have Zenzwa, he is in the area, but that is still Maokai. I don't feel that the side of TTN can truly dive him, and they actually might have to be careful because here comes Zenzwa and Aeon. They're going to actually look for Evil G. They get the knockup. They have the Vengeful Maelstrom popped right now. Not going to get the slow. There's the Wild Growth as well, and here comes Van Cleef with the Onslaught of Shadows. They're going to get down Evil G. He has the wish, but not enough to heal himself up. Zadanu will be the next target. He falls. That's going to be the kill given over to the tree.
And even the mid lane.
Yeah, we see in the mid lane that Junior fell, but they got the kill onto Shadow, which is huge, and now Zod having to be careful. Gold card gonna lock him up. That will be the card to pick up the final kill on him as well.
All right, nice little return there for the side of TTN, but at the same time, Integrity played that very well. Sure, they had the numbers advantage, but they focused down the right way, and now they're trying to collapse into the mid.
Yeah, that's Destiny being used by Insanity as Fragcoid
Fragcoid?
goes in.
What?
He wants to see if he can keep the Twisted Fate alive.
Oh.
He sacrificed himself valiantly for that one.
They've got no ultimates, no summoner spells. You're not saving Twisted Fate. You're literally just killing yourself by jumping into the fight right there, Fragcoid. Maybe if you have the Keeper's Verdict up, I can warrant a play like that, but in reality, just not the right decision for him. Just donates over some more cash to Int.
See, don't take away his valiant death there. Even though it was very much unwarranted and he probably could have survived it. Still, it is something that we have to cherish in our hearts forever for the sacrifices Poppy has given us today.
Your heart, not my heart.
But yes, now we see this tower pressure going over to the side of Integrity as they finally knock down that last tier 1 in the mid lane. They have so much pressure on this map. 16 minutes into the game, we see a almost 7k gold lead in their favor.
And really the only objective they didn't get was that first Ocean Drake, but they'll have another chance to try and neutralize that. There's a mountain coming up in just a minute, and that's almost one of the best ones to have if you are a snowballing team. Just the ability to burst down neutral objectives to take turrets for yourselves. Although I do like what I'm seeing. A lot of control wards being purchased in the inventories here of TTN. Try and guard the entrance of their jungle. That's a teleport behind in the mid lane.
Teleport. They gotta be careful. Here comes Shadow with this. Want to get the damage on the.
Oh my, that charm!
Coming in, and now we have Insanity. He got the gold coin on to Shadow, but not going to be enough. They get the kill over to the Ahri, and now Zadanu, he has to run away from Ion as we have the Poppy trying to collapse on to that Lulu, keep him from engaging any further as Zenzwa is going to try to see if he can get the flank. Cut off the members of TTN. Keeper's Verdict going to knock away the Maokai as Shadow does get the charm, but it should not be enough to be able to pick up a kill.
I actually can't tell if that charm onto Insanity was completely boosted or if it was just a god tier prediction, because Insanity flashed straight into that ability. Maybe he was going to be able to trade a kill back. Maybe he was going to be able to save his ADC, but that charm was absolutely absurd, and it single-handedly won them that head over heels.
Oh, for sure. And all the while that fight was happening, we saw Zod take down that tier 2 in the bot lane. That allows the map to be opened up even more as that tier 2 in the mid lane took a lot of damage. Now we're going to have this Chilling Smite go onto Ion. They're going to try to re-engage on the side of TTN, but Zanjawa taking up a lot of damage. We see that Fragcoid's doing the same as well with Junior in the front line. Here comes the Wild Growth on to that Maokai. They get the kill onto Rek'Sai, and now they're going to try to see if they can re-engage the fight even further. Is Fragcoid finally falls. Double kill for the Ahri. Insanity going to be the next target. He gets killed by Zod. Zadanu gonna fall, and now Evil G, the last one. Tree Shot Barrage a little too late as that is picked up by the tree.
And we were talking about Lulu combos in Champ Select. The Lulu plus Rengar, we said, but look at that. The Lulu plus Maokai made that tree survive so ridiculously long in that fight. If you think back almost a full year, TSM Immortals in playoffs when Immortals were just off of their insane run, going undefeated during the regular split, that's the composition that won them the series. Lulu plus Maokai, absolutely unkillable the later we get into the game, and because they're so far ahead, he's got so much more tank stats, plus Lulu, it's unreal.
Yeah, and we are hitting the 19-minute mark in this game, and look at the gold deficit that is for TTN. They are so far out of this game. A lot of that has to be with the great wombo combo that is coming out of Integrity, as they have, what is that, almost about 12.5k gold in their favor.
The number is big, I can tell you that much. I'm not too hot at math, but 3 and 7 and 8 look a lot bigger than a 2, 5, 4. And 16 to 5, that also is pretty darn massive. It really just comes down to how fast now, how effectively can Integrity close out this match with a lead like this, with a Mountain Drake as well. The only issue is that Baron hasn't even spawned onto the Rift yet for them to try and snowball this completely out of control.
Yeah, instead they're going to be able to get themselves that Mountain Drake. That way, once the Baron does spawn, if they win a fight, they can either end the game or they can go for the style points, get the Baron, end the game off of that. But honestly, do they even need it? We can tell how they're playing the map. They're playing that really nicely, even though there are some wards coming in from TTN around the Baron. They're just going for this bot lane push, trying to see if they can get the objectives. Insanity and a lot of trouble.
Baby.
Right away. Bragcoid wanted to go for the re-engage, but too little, too late. The Redemption going to heal as we see the onslaught.
You're just going in!
On the Evil G. There comes the... A True Shot Barrage. Junior going to be the target as we have the Twisted Advance by Sanzwa in the back line. They're going to get Evil G, but Evil G will turn around, get the Heck Room, but everyone else falls on his team. That is the ace. Who needs Baron when he killed a whole team?
Exactly right there. It starts off by picking off one of the only wave clear tools, albeit mediocre at best for TTN, and they're just ending this one 20 minutes in. FF.
FF at 20. We're going to see that. And Integrity definitely showing that they're going to be a player coming into this tournament, someone to keep your eye on, as they ended that one in 20 minutes and 40-something seconds with a huge gold lead as well. Definitely well played by Integrity.
Rapid Fire Cannon Hecarim, my favorite as well. A very standard build you see all day. He sold his items at the end. That was a joke. But this 10-2-4 Ahri, absolutely overwhelming. It started off by getting the first blood. It looked a little bit shaky because it was a 1-for-1 trade with him getting stunned underneath the turret. But say no more. He took the aggressive Ignite. We said he wanted to snowball. He did that. And other than the one misstep where they allowed the Twisted Fate to flank around them in the bottom lane, honestly, Integrity looked unstoppable.
Yeah, a lot of credit has to go to Aeon as well on that Lulu. 0-0-17. Absolutely beautiful play going onto that Lulu. And we saw the strength of that champion as well. The Wild Growths were coming in clutch, keeping Zanzwa alive throughout a lot of those fights, as well as just making it so that their engage was even stronger than it could have been before.
We knew Lulu was strong. Now, after seeing her in a couple of games, she is almost solidifying herself as a must-ban if you are on the red side. So many teams will go ahead and first pick that champion that you can't allow that possibility of her falling through that first phase. But for now, we are going to have to take a quick little break. We've got our fourth and final game coming up shortly after this break. So as always, stick around and don't go anywhere.
officers. What's going on?
We're in the middle of an epic car chase.
Is that why you're moving in slow motion?
Epic car chases are always done in slow motion.
That's a bit cliche. Going for a donut.
Donut.
Smart.
The moment the juice gently drips down your patty. When your taste buds meet real wholesome meat, that's when you know you're in a point of no return. You realize you're lost in the pleasures only a true meal can offer. You're lost, but you sure as hell don't want to be found. Hugo's Burger Bar. Let's burger like never before.
Life's about looking for little moments of happiness. Moments when we come out of the cold and into the welcoming warmth. Delicious leisurely mornings or long lazy afternoons where we dream sweet dreams and take the time to finally be ourselves. When you find these little moments of happiness, life becomes irresistible, a journey to be enjoyed. And Costa is there with you, every sip of the way.